Okay, guys, as you have heard, this this course will be recorded, and later on I will upload the video of this course to YouTube so that you can just check over there. Okay, so let me introduce myself a little bit. My name is Tiffany Bao, and you can just call me Tiffany. And I am an assistant professor at Arizona State University in CSE, the school. And my research is about software security. I like to look at those questions such as how to find bugs in software and also how to mitigate those software found bugs. And to achieve that, I was just used binary analysis approaches and game theory. And this is my personal website, tiffanybout.com. And also the course website is going to be under this domain as well. You will see the course website later. This is my email address, tbao, tiffanybout, at asc.edu. And welcome to shoot me an email for any questions, such as like, about the course, about the school, or about the research, etc. And me, I joined ASU in 2018. I know some of you actually joined ASU before I am. So I may have some questions in terms of the campus to ask you in the future. So apparently some of you are actually more senior than me in terms like regarding the time of joining ASU. And I graduated from Carnegie Mellon University in 2018. So me, I am, as I mentioned, I am an assistant professor at ASU and also a co-director of the SAFCOM Lab, Laboratory of Security Engineering for Future Computing. In the SAFCOM Lab, we have about 30 PhD students. We have also a master student and undergrad working with us together. And associated with that, we have a hacking team. We call it Pong Devils at ASU. We play CTFs together. And sometimes we play CTF with the Shellfish team, which is another top hacking team in the world, together for very fancy CTF games. Also, I am a member of the Order of Overflow. You may not have heard about this organization, the Order of Overflow, before, but I guess some of you may be able to recognize this. Can of you tell me what is this? No?
It's the DEFCON flag.
Yes, exactly. This is DEFCON. Yes, I also saw you guys typing DEFCON CTF in the chat. Yes, this is DEFCON. So the Order of Overflow is in charge of hosting DEFCON CTF since 2018. And very luckily, I'm a member of them. And we set up the entire tech, like the infrastructure, and we come up with those challenges for both quals and the finals. And we play with teams together, but in a different way. Like we host it and then we watch them play. But also, meanwhile, it's like an interaction process. Sometimes before the game, sometimes during the game, they may find something even more interesting, beyond our plan, which is like, surprise. Sometimes it's surprised in a good way, sometimes it's surprised in a bad way, but we really enjoy hosting this and, witness of top tier, hacking teams have fun in in DEFCON CTF. So for those that don't know about DEFCON CTF, I'm just giving a very, very short introduction for DEFCON CTF. So DEFCON CTF is a capture the flag game where people can either attack, defend other people, or they can work on Jeopardy, just like work on the public challenge and try to find the tiny secret inside the challenge. We call those tiny secret as a flag. So for example, there can be a service that is vulnerable. Through the vulnerable service, a team can actually compromise the other team, access the file content from the other team, and then find the flag over there, read the flag, and then put it up and submit it to the organizations such as OOO. order of overflow so that they can weak point, they can attack other people. So it is a very fun, you know, like hacking, and also like a legitimate ethical hacking competition that you can test your personal hacking skill, and also you can see how cool the other team play in this entire game. Yeah, so that's pretty much about myself. That's pretty much about, you know, the CTF that I am currently acting involved. And then now I'm gonna go back to our course and show you some content that I plan to present throughout the entire semester. Before I go to course content, do you guys have any questions? No? Good? Okay, I'll continue. And if you have questions, feel free, just send question or just say like, I have a question in chat. While I am giving this lecture to you, I'm also keeping track of the Zoom group chat. So ping me over there and I will stop and start to ask you, you know, the question that you want to ask me. Okay, so we just talked about CTF, and we just talked about, you know, the form that plays that players, teams play CTF. And usually for CTF challenges, it can, you know, be categorized into this 4 different groups. Reverse engineering, it means that given you know, like a binary, like an executable file, and you are required to understand the meaning of that binary and extract those information from the binary. And this is called reverse engineering, because you're gonna really like reverse back, not like looking at the source code, but instead looking at the binary, the one of those binary over there, those executable file, and to understand the meaning inside that file. And the second, we call it pawn. So usually those challenges, there are vulnerabilities in the challenges. And from like, and the attackers or say players, they need to identify the vulnerabilities and they need to take advantage of the vulnerability so that they can compromise the machine or the service that hosts this specific challenge. And in the next course, in the course of the next week, we are going to show you like the way that you know, a service is run in a host. And in future courses, we are going to talk about how we are going to pawn the challenges. Besides these 2 types of challenge, there are also crypto and web challenge. For crypto challenge, it's usually about like cracking a crypto, say find the password, find the key, the private key, or try to, you know, decrypt and cipher test, and like to turn it from a cipher test to a plain test, and maybe that plain test itself is the CTF, like it's the flag that you need to capture. And similarly for web, it may also contain vulnerabilities that you need to exploit in order to get the sensitive file or the secret flag over there. And in this course, since we are going to talk about software security, we are going to focus on reverse engineering and pawn. But if time is allowed, I will also talk about web security as well, since, you know, web application, in a broad way of thinking about that, it also can be considered as, you know, a software, just like, you know, a software that runs as a web service. Okay, so for now, by now I have been talking a lot about CTF, but I really want to emphasize that this course is not just about CTF or hacking. I'm not going to just tell you that, you know, how to hack this service, how to attack those vulnerabilities. But more importantly, I want to give you a view of those modern techniques that actually automatically find those vulnerabilities instead of just like manually looking at it and manually identify those vulnerabilities. And also, I will talk about those defenses on software vulnerabilities, because we cannot just only look at the offense side. And the goal for us for this course is to make you be able to find a bug and also defend those bugs in the future so that we can avoid those loss due to software vulnerabilities. Also, I will talk about the strategies of vulnerability mitigation. So it's like, given a vulnerability, what is the best way of handle it? Just think about this. Suppose you find a vulnerability, say, from application, or say you find a vulnerability from ASU's website. How should you do? Should you just post on the Facebook and tell your friends that, hey, I found a cool bug? Or should you just report it to someone who is responsible for the maintenance of this technique? And also, when you tell other people about the existence of vulnerability, what is the best way to communicate with other people so that they can understand what you find, right? And even beyond that, actually, this is also part of my research. We found that actually, when you after report this vulnerability to other people, there may be a delay for the others to really patch it, to defend this vulnerability. Then what's the best timing? Especially given the fact that there are so many vulnerabilities over there, there may be many vulnerabilities found in every day. So how should organizations or government handle those found new vulnerabilities in order to minimize the loss caused by those vulnerabilities? All right, and based on those content, specifically in our course, we will cover different kinds of vulnerabilities, different kinds of attack, different kinds of defense. So for vulnerabilities, we will talk about stack overflow, format string, heap overflow, use after free, and double free. If we have time to talk about web, I will also talk about the cross-site scripting and SQL injection vulnerabilities. And it is totally fine that at this point, you don't know what those means. Those for you are all just jargons. That's totally fine. We will cover in this course. In terms of attack, for those vulnerabilities that I will introduce to you, I will also talk about how to leverage them, how to take advantage of those vulnerabilities and generate an actual working attack. And this will help you to understand the actual impact of a vulnerability, because we keep saying that vulnerabilities are bad. Attackers, if they are evil enough, they can take advantage of it, they will control a machine, but we really don't have a concrete idea of why and how they manage to do so. So we will look into this, and we will really think this from offensive perspective to understand what kind of attack that can be produced because of the existence of those vulnerabilities. So we will cover Stack Overflow attacks, we will cover format string attacks, and also, given the more modern types of defense technique, we will also talk about even more modern attacks that can bypass those given those current defense mechanisms, such as the ASLR. So we're going to talk about ROP, we're going to talk about return to libc attacks, and also we're going to talk about a lot of House of Star, House of Spirit, those different kinds of heap attacks. And in order to do that, we will also talk about the memory layout, the heap layout, all the structures in terms of a binary. Okay, and from attack side, after we talk about those attacks, of course, we need to get back to our original goal, which is to talk about, what is the best defense? How are we going to defend about that? And also, I will talk about different kinds of defenses that either has been implemented or has been actively discussed in academia, but not totally implemented in industry. Or I will talk about, something that will be ideally perfect. It will be ideal if that can be implemented into the operating system, but may not be possible, or say it may not be feasible to be implemented into the operating system due to issues such as scalability or performance overhead. And also I will talk about some open research, something that researchers are still actively working on in order to defend those known attacks or vulnerabilities. So I will talk about stack canary, ASLR. So this is something that I just mentioned when I talk about attack, like, one attack that can bypass ASLR is to use ROB. Also, I'm going to talk about CFI control flow integrity. I'm going to talk about like those Tcache checks that have been implemented in known libraries such as libc libraries. So yeah, those are, vulnerabilities, attack, defense. Those like three different angles about in terms of software security, and those are the content that I plan to cover in this course. Also, we're going to talk about those automatic techniques and tools, as I mentioned before. I will talk about, those reverse engineering tools or those automatic software vulnerability discovery techniques. Again, while you are, start to try to become a hacker, or say try to learn those hacking skills, you will start to realize actually there are a lot of existing tools on our plate. And for me, I highly encourage you to learn the tools and reuse those tools, because we don't want to reinvent wheels. So I'm gonna introduce to you some in reverse engineering tools or hacking tools, like useful libraries or tools that can use directly. But also, I also encourage you to explore those tools by yourself. And if you happen to come across some tools that you really, really love and you think it's really, really helpful, feel free to tell me, feel free to let me know, because I also want to learn from everyone while you are exploring. I want to learn from you that, what are the best tool from your perspective, so that I know those are the cool tools that I should recommend to students or my friends in the future. Okay, I think that's a lot of things. One student, I don't know if I pronounce your name correctly, that means you. So he mentioned about fuzz in the Zoom group chat. Yes, we might cover fuzz. I'm hoping that if we have enough time, I would introduce some fancy fuzzing techniques to you, especially the tools such as AFL, American Fuzzing Lab, which is a public known, very popular fuzzing tools that have been used prevalently in real world. So yeah, that's my plan. I hope that if our time is allowed, I will definitely introduce to you some fancy fuzzing techniques so that you can use in the future. All right. So I have talked a lot about the content of CSE545 about software security, and it's totally fine that, there's something that you just don't know what I'm talking about. It's like, all those jargons, which is totally fine. But maybe I can talk about the goal, and I hope that this goal will be clear enough for you to understand, like on the high level, what do I expect from you after you learn the entire course throughout this semester. So first, I hope that in the future, you can write more secure programs. And in order to do that, you need to be able to tell those are the possible vulnerabilities over there, and how to avoid those vulnerabilities. And if such vulnerability exists, how bad it can be. So that's why, again, I want to introduce to you vulnerabilities, attack, and defense, like from 3 different perspectives, so that it will help you to understand how to write a secure program. And second is that I hope you will be able to aware of those potential software security issues. Maybe those issues will not really lead to a security hole. Maybe that issues may not really lead to a bad attack. But I also hope you to identify those potential issues so that you can avoid that in your future coding. Suppose that you go to a big, coding company, you're going to program over there. I hope that you are be able to realize those potential issues. Or maybe even on the higher level, when you design, if you're going to become a project manager, you're going to, design the entire, say, like a project or say an infrastructure. I hope that you will be able to know, in order to design a secure infrastructure, what you should pay attention. Okay, and then third is about, handle software vulnerability correctly. This comes back to the mitigation strategy. So I hope that you will be able to understand that, if you find a bug in the future, what is the best way to handle it? How to do this responsible disclosure? I hope that while we are learning this, in the future, we will start to make contribution. And actually, when I was a TA back in Carnegie Mellon University, there was one time that one student in my course actually find a security bug in a restaurant website, and I helped her handle this, bug reporting. And in the end, the entire process got wrapped up very smoothly and very well. The website fixed the bug without, any bad release. So yeah, I hope that throughout this course, you will be able to learn how to communicate with other people if you find a bad security bug. By the way, I think there might be someone with mic unmute. Would you like to unmute, since I can hear some noise from you? Thank you. Cool. Okay, and in the end, I hope that you can become an ethical hacker. And when I say ethical hacker, it doesn't mean that like from now on or after this course, you will start to find a bug every day. Hacker is more of a, it's a philosophy, it's a spirit. I hope that you enjoy, identifying software bugs, you enjoy telling other people that there is security concerns in their programs. And also, I hope that you can tell the other one that how to be ethical. Like if you will become a hacker, like the narrow scope of hacker, which means that you really find bug, I'm happy to see that. I will be very happy to hear that you finally become a hacker, discover vulnerabilities. But I don't want you to become a black hat in the sense that you utilize this vulnerabilities for your own purpose or for a malicious purpose. I hope that you can really like benefit the entire software community by letting the software developer, letting whoever is responsible for the technique, let them know about this the security issue so that they can fix this problem correctly. Okay, so that's about the course overview. And now I'm going to talk about the concrete, more like actionable or the more concrete thing about this course, which is the setup. As everyone know, we are in a very special semester. We are going to, perform this course as a ASU Sync course. And in our course, we are even more special than other courses because, we have only one course in a week. And in this course, we have only 1 hour and 15 minutes. So given the short amount of course, I am going to split this course into 2 parts. One is about self-learning, and the other is about in-class teaching. So for self-learning, I'm going to upload videos. I'm going to upload slides to course website and also YouTube. And you're going to learn those materials before the class. So really, really make sure that you learn this before the class, because during the class, we are going to assume that you know those contents already. And based on those knowledge, I am going to talk about, like more concrete or more hands-on stuff. So those materials, it will not be taught again during the class, like during today's session. So please make sure that you do go over those contents. And usually I will make this content about maybe like an hour in a week. I hope that this is not like a lot of work for you before you go to the Thursday session. And I'm hoping that I can upload those videos probably at the beginning of the week. I hope that I can upload it say like before Monday or say on Sunday, so that you will have 2 to 3 days to digest those video and slides content. In terms of the website, I will talk about that later. I will show you the website link. So after you learn those content online by yourself, we will have this in-class session. And in the in-class session, we are going to go through a hands-on lab. And that means that I will show you, like I'm gonna program and show you how to program to maybe like, to achieve some like a homework-wise or a lab-wise goal. And then you need to follow the steps in order to reproduce what I have shown during the class. You might need to write a program, maybe like a C program or a Python program, and you need to get the expected output as what I show you during the in-class lab. And also you may be required by me to submit the flag content, or say like to submit a message, the expected output to me, so that I know that you do participate in this class. So that's also part of the reason I really, really expect you to learn the content, learn those videos before class, because we don't have time to repeat it again. We may have a quick, recap of what this video are talking about, but we're not gonna go over them. So we're gonna assume that you already know it, and we're gonna go to programming, go to the lab directly. And also you will be asked to do whatever I am doing during the class as well. So really, really make sure that you understand what's doing. But if you don't understand about, the contents in my lab, feel free to shoot me questions, feel free to send me emails or talk to me on Slack, which I will talk about that later. Like I will talk about how we are gonna communicate. Okay, and in terms of course grading, I know this is probably one of the most important things for you. And also, I know that many of you have asked me this question like through email before we start, even before we start this semester. So there will be no exams for this class, no midterm, no final. But that will be for assignment and a CTF in the end of the semester. So for the 4 assignments, we are going to have different proportion depending on the content of the assignment, depending on the load of the assignment. And for the CTF, we are going to allocate 15% of the score to CTF. Besides CTF and assignment, you will have another 5% participation score. If you add all those portions together, you will be able to see that actually the total percentage is 110. And I make this over 100 intentionally, because I hope that, if you can achieve score that is more than 100, I can give you an A+. If you cannot achieve that, it's also fine. I will give you, A or B or C or D only, or some other scores. Also, if the assignment itself, if the assignment is too complicated, say like everyone cannot get a certain amount of the score, say, for example, for the first one, if it is 15%, but no one can get up to 10%. Sorry, no one can get, over 10%. Then yes, I will normalize it, and I will make sure that the grading is relative. In terms of assignment, the assignment will be individual, but the CTF, it might be in group. I haven't decided yet. So I will give you more information about CTF when we're close to that period. But for assignments, they're all individual and independent. You can discuss with other people, like you can ask them how they do it, but please make sure that you don't cheat. In terms of communication, I am going to have, I mean, the website is already over there. So if you just click this link later on, yeah, I mean, if you can click this link, or if you just like go to www.tiffany.com, you will be able to see the course link over there, and you can visit the course website. And we will use Slack heavily, and Slack will be probably like the solely way that we like simultaneously sync up. Also for course related questions, or if you want to talk to me in person with a very tight time limit, you can also just Slack me over there. So students are asking if there will be a minus or B plus those letter grade. Yes, there will be A plus, A minus, B plus, B minus, etc. And there might be Y grade. I'm not sure about that. And then I was also asked by the other student for this, and I am checking the school policy. So I don't know the answer yet, but I will let you know after I figure this out. In terms of a Slack, this is the invitation link of Slack. And after you join this Slack, you should be able to talk to me, talk to the TAs, who I will introduce later, and you can just ask us questions. So I hope that when you ask course-related questions, as long as it doesn't touch anything private to you, I hope that you can ask them in public so that everyone can share the answers from me or from the TAs. And also, I would probably just separate those questions by weeks or by topic, so that later on it will be easier for other people to index those questions. For example, this week's question will go to the channel of grading questions. So you can ask the questions over there. And also all the announcement will go to the channel called announcement in Slack. I will probably also post those announcements in course website, but I can't guarantee that the announcement in course website is complete. I will make sure that the announcement in Slack channel will be complete. So make sure that you register to the Slack channel. We're going to use that heavily in our course. And also please make sure that you keep track on the announcement channel. Actually, you can make a notification by yourself in your own Slack. And whenever there is, a message popping up in the channel of announcement, it will send to you directly with the specific notification. Okay, there are some questions in our group chat, and I'm gonna answer you guys' questions here. One question is that, do we need to physically present for CTF exam? The answer is no. Throughout this entire course, you do not need to physically present. So we're gonna do this in the entire, in a remote way. In the entire course is gonna be remote. What are the prereqs for this course? I will talk about that later. And is CTF an exam? No, it is not an exam. So it's a game in the way that it's open book. So you can check online. You can Google, of course, but you cannot really cheat with other people. Please make sure that you don't do that. But you are welcome to Google online to get whatever content you want. It's gonna be like a 2-week activities. I'm trying to come up with some yeah, sorry, I was thinking about, is there anything similar that I can mention to you guys? I don't know if some of you have attended any puzzle solving competition. If you do, CTF is very similar to that. So you will be asked to solve some of the challenges and submit a flag over there. And it's going to be like a website opening all the services over there, and you're going to visit it. You're going to, play over there. We probably will not rank CTF. And when we score you, we mostly, so it depends. So for example, if everyone got full got like a full score from CTF, then I'll give you full score because I'm happy to do that. But if say like most of you don't get even like 30% of the score, I will normalize the score and make sure that you still have a decent score out of the CTF. So CTF, yes, it will be graded. And if you take a look at the course grading, 15% of the grade will come from CTF. But, and I may rank it, but I will make sure that like your final score is not just come from ranking. Because my goal is to make sure that you play it well. And if you don't play it well, I don't really want to like punish you by giving you a bad score. I don't know if I have answered your question correctly. So basically, I may rank, but the reason why I rank it is not because that I want to give you bad score. It's only because that I might want to give you a better score. Like if everyone doesn't perform well, I'm gonna rank it so that some of you who rank top will still get a good score. All right, and before I talk about TA, I am going to actually let's just go to the TA section for now, and then I will talk about the prerequisite of CTF. Sorry, of the entire course. All right, so we are going to have 3 TAs in this course. I don't know if Diane, Dora, and Kyle, if you guys are here, could you
I'm here.
Awesome. So would you like to introduce yourself to everyone?
Yeah, sure. I can even turn on my camera. Yeah.
Yes, that's nice.
Hi, everybody. I'm Zion. I'm one of your TAs for CSE545. I'm a master's student. I work in the same lab as Tiffany at SAFCOM. I've worked in security for maybe like 4 years now. I am the co-captain of Shellfish, so I do a lot of CTFing every weekend. I'm also the president of the Pwn Devils team, so the team that Tiffany talked about, please feel free to join. We meet on Mondays, and I'll be your TA for this course. So nice to see you all.
Sweet, thanks, Dion. Yeah, as Dion mentioned, he is the, someone is drawing? Oh, thanks for erasing that. So as Dion mentioned, he is the co-captain of the Shellfish team and as well as the president of Pwn Devil. And Pwn Devil is the CTF team at ASU. And many of the content that we learn can be directly applied to play CTF. So if you are interested in this course, if you are interested in those challenges that we have during the course, I highly encourage you to talk to Zaya and probably play games with Pwn Devils together. Cool. Jor and Kyle, are you guys also here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, yeah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So, guys, my name is Zor, and I'm a PhD student at SAFCOM. Currently, I'm working with Tiffany, like on the combination of binary analysis and machine learning. We have TA hours after the course, so you are welcome to submit to ask any questions about this course. About if you are also interested in SAFCOM, you are like welcome to learn more about our lab. So yeah, thank you.
Cool. Yep, thanks, Jor. Kyle, are you also here? Okay, so it seems that Kyle is not here, so I am gonna introduce him to you guys. So Kyle is a second year PhD student and your SAFCOM, and he is probably one of the best hackers in SAFCOM as well as in the team of Pong Devils and Shellfish. Like Kyle knows a lot of fancy, cool hacking, like Pong techniques. He probably know more techniques than I do, honestly. So he is good at working on binary related challenges like reverse engineering and Pong. And also his research is about binary analysis, is about finding bugs from software programs. So if you have any questions about the course, about like, or even beyond the course, you're welcome to talk to Kyle, talk to me and the other TAs. In terms of office hour, as Dora mentioned, we will have an office hour after this course, and I will make that regular. But like in terms of a concrete plan for the office hour is still TBD. I will discuss with my TAs and making sure fix the concrete start and end time, and later on I will publish those office hour to the announcement channel as well as the course website. And in terms of this course, it's I would say this is like a risky course, and the reason why I'm saying this is because you're going to be asked to hack, which is pretty dangerous. Like it violates the security ethic, because you don't really want to attack other people. So before we really talk about the course, before we really start to touch those meat, I want to emphasize this to you guys, which is very important. You can only hack those services that are permitted to hack. And please don't attack others, including me, including the TAs as well. And also, well, yeah, I mean, I said it over there. So make sure that you don't attack others, don't attack me or TAs, or your friends who don't attend this course, your parents or families, etc. So please make sure that you can only attack those that are allowed to attack. Okay, so for this course, sorry guys, I laughed because I just see someone was asking a very interesting question. How about ASU's website? Please no, please don't attack ASU's website. If you still want me to, to stay at ASU, I don't want to teach my student and then my student's gonna, attack my employer, attack the school. That would be really bad. But if you happen to find, a bug from ASU website, please let me know. I will let you know how you're gonna report it. So it will be fun if we can find something that's really like practical, but make sure that you don't take advantage of that. Okay, back to our bug bounties. Okay, sorry guys, I have to come back to this again because someone was raising a very interesting thing, bug bounties. Yes, bug bounty is legitimate. Well, I mean, it depends. Some of the bug bounties, they're legitimate, like Google's one, right? Some of them, they're like in a gray area. So I will be super cautious about that, actually. And I will, I will talk about that, hopefully, in the rest of this semester. So basically, if we found a bug, make sure that you report it to a legitimate bug bounty, like those bug bounties that will really make sure that the bug will be mitigated instead of like really trading or selling this bug to someone that we don't know, and those people are gonna like maliciously take advantage of those bugs. Okay, and another question from you guys: can the slides be downloaded from the website? Is it called? Okay, so it will be downloaded. It will be able to download it from the website. Currently, I'm putting a dummy introduction, like PPTX over there, but I will change that later. So yeah, so the answer is yes, you will be able to download the slides from the website. Okay, more questions? No? Cool. Okay, Now let's talk about prerequisite, which is something that also I know that you guys are, very much cared about. So our course will teach you how to find bugs and how to exploit those bugs. You need to have a pretty good programming skill before you take this class. So we will touch C programming language. We will, touch x86 and x86-64 assembly. And for this two, you will be asked to read the code and to understand the code. So especially for x86-64 assembly, if you don't know about assembly, I highly encourage you to either think about if you want to take this course or spend some time to go over assembly. Like there are, very good websites talking about x86-64 assembly, making sure that you can read assembly. And actually in the second lab, like the second assignment, you will be asked to read assembly codes and understand the semantics over there. The third is about Python. You will need to write Python code. Actually, you can write some other code, like you can write codes in other languages. But the reason why I use Python domestically in this course is because many like hacking related libraries, they are in Python language. And because we don't want to reinvent wheels, I am going to like majorly use Python as the primary programming language in this course. And also this course, we will focus on Linux binaries, like those ELF format binary. So we will need to operate on Linux operating systems. If you have never used a Linux before, I highly encourage you to install a Linux virtual machine or just like run a Linux operating system somewhere by yourself. Just play around it, like, try to open a terminal and type some commands over there, or go over some tutorials online about Linux operating systems so that you will know how to use Linux terminal. And associated with Linux, you need to learn how to use bash commands. I also encourage you, if you have time, to learn how to program in bash, at least to learn those like for loop, if statement. They're not very hard. Like, I would say bash language is probably, it's simpler than like C or C++ because it doesn't have like class, it doesn't have structs over there. But still, it's probably gonna take you some time to learn and understand the grammar of bash language. So make sure that you can understand those content so that it will help you. It will help you to have a easier life in this course. And there
I
is
have a question.
Okay, yes.
So it's the first assignment C, the second assembly, and the third Python?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
is
no.
that correct?
I mean, you're saying the assignment or the prerequisite?
It's just, you mentioned that the second assignment is going to be assembly, so I don't know if that applies for a particular language and assignment.
I see. No. So that's a good point. That's a good question. When I say the second lab is about assembly, it doesn't apply that the first one is C or the third one is Python. It's just like the second one, the second assignment is about reverse engineering. So we're gonna be heavily using assembly. That is gonna be the core of that assignment. Okay. And then, for a complete list, you can refer to the policy webpage of the course website. So in the next week, I will go over some of the prerequisites for this course. And I'm hoping that, when I go over this, you can start to understand like to which degree does this course require you for those different knowledges. Like for C, what I'm hoping is you can understand it, you can read it well. For Python, the requirement might be a little bit higher than what I mentioned for C, which is you need to write language, like you need to write programs in Python. And also Bash, you will need to, know the basic commands in Linux, and then you need to know how to, run those Bash commands, or how to, type those commands in order to operate on Linux operating system correctly. Before next Thursday, which is the first in-class lab, I will need you guys to install Linux by yourself. I hope that you will have a Linux environment, because we are going to program together in Linux operating system. And for me, I am going to use Ubuntu, but you are free to use other Linux operating system as long as you can handle it well. Yes, VM is totally fine. For me, I myself just use virtual machine. So that's totally fine. And you can use Docker as well if you feel that virtual machine is a little bit too heavy. And also, as I mentioned, make sure that you go over the videos and the slides. I am still producing those videos and slides, but I think I should be able to get it done by the end of this week. So you will be able to see the videos and slides before next Monday. For Linux subsystem may not work. So you probably really need a real Linux operating system instead of a Linux subsystem for Windows. All right. Mac Unix does not count, unfortunately, because in the future, we will need some features that are very specific to Linux instead of Unix. So yeah, so make sure that you have a Linux machine. And attention to you guys, next week, we are going to change our course link. This is very important because I don't want you to go to the wrong link so that you will not be able to see me. Make sure that you go to the correct link, and I will also change that from my ASU. So I suppose after I change that, you should be able to redirect to this link correctly if you just click the ASU sync button. But just make sure that you know this link. So next time, if you happen to go to the wrong link, you can also check the course website, or you can check the the Slack announcement over there to get this new course link. And we will use this new course link permanently throughout the entire semester. Okay. That's pretty much for today. Do you guys have any questions to me? No? We're good? Cool. Okay. Yeah, so that's pretty much for this time. Thank you very much. And I will stay here for a little longer so that you can ask me more questions. But yeah, if you don't have any questions, that's it for today's course. I will see you guys next week. Have a good one. Bye.